Hey guys, it's Elena Supreme here, and today I want to talk about something that is really personal to me because, well, it's personal to me, and I feel like it's worth speaking about because um, it's very common and it's very common for me as well. So, I want to talk about how to not let other people disappoint you. Yeah, this is something that I was told a long time ago when I was like maybe 7. One of my brothers told me not to, how do I say this? Not to take a word from someone. And I'll get more into that story, but for now, I want to tell you what I've gathered together from the age of 7 to the age of 19. So, and how it works for me in my everyday life and how it changes me as a person and how I view myself and how I view the world. So, let's begin. One of the things that one of my favorite artists is KRS One said is that if you don't name yourself, you're forever subject to everyone else. So keep this in mind as I talk about things. I'm gonna take it back to when I first learned this lesson. So when I first learned this lesson, from this one person I put all my focus on for this lesson. So everything that she said to me, I said, okay, I'll take it as a grain of salt. Whatever. I'll see what you do with your word. And sometimes she came through with her word and sometimes she didn't. And the times that she didn't, I felt really hurt and I didn't really understand why she'd apologize, but she'd also apologize for other times. And usually, when you keep apologizing for the same thing, maybe you're just sorry that it happened rather than actually truly genuinely being sorry that you did that. So, these are things I've learned over the years of my life. So, I just said, okay, well, I can't expect anything out of you seriously. I hear the goals that you want to do. But just like with anyone's goals, it's up to them to do it. Getting back to if you don't name yourself, you're forever subject to everyone else. That also goes for subjecting other people to what they say. Now, I know I do not live inside this person, but I live within me. And I can only change what my response is to this thing. Like Maya Angelou said, if you cannot change something, change your attitude about it. I realize I am not this person. I do not live within her. I am not her. And although we have a lot of similarities, I am not her being. I am my own being. And I'm only responsible for my being because I have named myself. So therefore, I am subject to what I do, which gives me a sense of respect in what my word is. You learn that you don't have time to subject other people because you are only subject to yourself. It takes a lot of work and a lot of attention to yourself when you do subject yourself because you're molding yourself into whomever you want to become, whatever you feel like is the right thing for you to learn. When people try to subject me, I don't take it personally because maybe they haven't subject themselves or maybe they're just used to being subject. So what you're used to, you reflect. So I don't take it personally. I just say, well, I'm subject to myself. And no matter who you say this to, this has to be a fact with all things. Because the only way that your message or whatever you want to do with yourself can actually work with all things of your life is if you do it purely. And if you do it purely, you do this with everything and everyone. So that way, you won't feel brokenhearted all of the time. And You don't become a slave master. Because honestly, anything's like certain relationships, people feel like, well, you owe me because I own you. And that is a lot of people's attitudes. And they are subjecting other people. Like a king has subjects. This is an understanding of that, and it goes back to that understanding of kings having subjects and subjecting their subjects to do certain things as their tasks because they're the king. But instead, to live in peace, let's not do that. Let's not subject one another, but subject ourselves. Because only you know what it's like to wake up in the morning or the night or the afternoon, whatever time you wake up. Only you know how it is and how it feels to be you. You don't know how it feels in its complete sense to be someone else. You can be empathetic. You can have a sense of how they feel, but not on the every second basis, because you do not live in that person. So until you live in that person, you cannot subject that person to whatever they do, because they are their own being. They are responsible for themselves, no matter who it is. In my case, the person who I was speaking of, my biological mom. So I've learned a big lesson from that situation because she's not in my daily life. I still love her and I still appreciate her, but I do not subject her to what she does not subject to herself. The only way that I know that she's subjected that to herself is her actions, not by her words. And that's why whatever you say but you do not do, because that is something that I've grown accustomed to and learned how to change my attitude about it. So instead of being pissed off about it, like, you know what, you're not worth nothing and your word is worth nothing, maybe it isn't worth anything. But that's up to the person to decide if their word is worth something. If their word is not worth something to themselves, they cannot make their word worthy to you. At the end of the day, whatever you do to yourself, you do to others. And always remember that word is bond, one love.